Now, on another matter, today the Environment and Public Works Committee, led by Chairman Barrasso, is meeting to consider legislation that would help reduce, capture, and find productive uses for carbon dioxide emissions. It's an important subject. It deserves a serious approach. But as we all know, some on the far left have recently offered other ideas on this subject. That's right, Mr. President, the much heralded Green New Deal. Nothing says forward-thinking and fresh ideas quite like borrowing the name of an 80-plus-year-old policy program and just adding the color green. So what is this thing all about? It turns out to be an interesting question. Depends on who you ask. Democrats who authored it say it's a massive reorganization and government takeover of our nation's economy and our culture. Some have argued it's the only way to stop the world from ending in about a decade. This was interesting news, even to many of their fellow Democrats. Our colleague, Senator Durbin, reacted this way, quote, "I have read it, and I have reread it, and I asked Senator Ed Markey, what in the heck is this?" That's the assistant Democratic leader. But it looks like one way or the other, the Democratic Party as a whole is eager to get behind this great idea. So what's in it, Mr. President? Here are just a few of the hits in the 16-page resolution that the Senate will soon be voting on. Here's one you'll like: upgrading all existing buildings in the United States and building new buildings. Don't want a federal bureaucrat to decide how your house should look or what size it should be? Don't want to pay to rebuild the entire downtown? Don't want to tear down your small business so it can be replaced by the government? Too bad. These new social planners, they know best. Here's another quote: meeting 100% of the power demand in the United States, end quote, without, listen to this, without using any American fossil fuels or nuclear power whatsoever. That's right. It's the Cold War. It's the war on coal on steroids. Say goodbye to all those jobs. Say hello to a new wave of cronyism that would make $500 million in taxpayer losses from Solyndra look like pocket change. Everything in your garage will have to go too. A lengthy background document that this plan's authors have since tried to scrub from the internet helpfully explained that a Green New Deal would mean replacing every combustion engine vehicle. Every combustion engine vehicle. How about this one, Mr. President? Guaranteeing a job to all people of the United States. That one's buried on page 14. A government guaranteed job for everyone. That may sound like a good utopian goal, but their handy background document makes the real intention known, promising economic security for all, and listen to this, Mr. President, even for those who are unwilling to work. Even for those who are unwilling to work. That's a lot of magic wand waving, but I've only scratched the surface. The background document also called for a plan to build out high-speed rail at a scale where air travel becomes unnecessary. As our colleague Senator Hirono pointed out, this might be a tough sell in Hawaii or Puerto Rico or other places. And the governor of California just scaled back a high-speed rail project in California because, as he put it, would cost too much and respectfully take too long. Even with a heavy federal subsidy, it is billions over budget and behind schedule. That document also promised to magically remove pollution and emissions from manufacturing. Just like that. I wonder why nobody's thought of that before. So it's clear what we have here. It's the far left Santa Claus wish list dressed up to look like serious policy. Now, bad ideas are nothing new, Mr. President. Silly proposals come and go. But the philosophies and the ideas behind this textbook socialism are not just foolish, they're dangerous. Dangerous. Their ascent in the Democratic Party is a real threat to American prosperity and to working families. Chairman Barrasso reported that one analysis found this proposal could increase the average household's power bills by as much as, listen to this, $3,800 a year for the average household. Another estimate predicted that families would have to spend hundreds of billions of dollars just to replace common household appliances with Washington-approved models. And what about the total cost to the government for this socialist shopping spree? One recent estimate has that pegged at a cool $93 trillion over the first 10 years. $93 trillion over the first 10 years. More than the combined GDP of the entire world. Let me say that again. Their plan is predicted to cost more than the entire economic output of every country on earth combined. And remember what the American people are supposedly getting in return. A sprawling socialist state to rule over us, a host of good jobs in key industries ripped away, and an end to every energy source that the middle class can actually afford. Remember, China has already sailed past the U.S. in terms of carbon emissions. The far left still wants us to unilaterally disarm our whole economy. Lots of pain for us, no meaningful gain in containing global emissions. We'll go bankrupt, but at least it'll be great for China. How about they're cheering in the streets? So, Mr. President, the way I see it, the way most Republicans see it, this proposal is either a brilliant piece of comedy or a disastrous socialist vision that is totally alien to the United States of America. So what about our Democratic colleagues? Where do they stand? Recently, I announced that senators will get to go on record and vote for or against all of this. But curiously enough, this planned vote was met with outrage from the very people claiming to champion the proposal. Last night, our colleague from Rhode Island said it was truly preposterous for me to schedule a vote on the Green New Deal. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement of a plan Democrats claim to support. And he doesn't seem to be alone in his uneasiness. At one point, the Speaker of the House dismissed her party's own plan as, quote, the Green Dream. The senior senator from California worried publicly the other day that there's no way to pay for it. And as I noted, the assistant Democratic leader summed up a lot of people's thinking when he asked, what the heck is this? I think a great many Americans all across the country are asking themselves the very same thing. What the heck is this? So before much longer, Mr. President, every member of this body will have a chance to go on record loud and clear. Do our Democratic colleagues really support this fantasy novel masquerading as public policy? Do they really want to completely upend Americans' lives to enact some grand socialist vision? Do they really want this to be their Democratic Party? Well, before long, the Senate will vote, and these questions will be answered.